For me, I am unapologetically America first, and I'll do anything I can to work hard to save
Maybe you should become a Democrat, Marjorie.
No, I'm not a Democrat. You want to know something? I'll say this. I think both parties have failed.
Yeah.
Both parties have failed.
This is worse.
Yeah.
This is worse. Sorry, you know that.
Yeah. Go and firebomb a Jewish governor's house and assassinate somebody and get back to me later. Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Democrat Party show The View, which is under the budget umbrella of ABC News. ABC News. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, of course, announced that she's resigning from the Congress because of a breakup with President Trump. And she's gone full kind of nutty cakes. Crazy, and she's in the headlines all over the place. The New York Times suddenly loves her. Punchbowl News with what MTG got right. Marjorie Taylor Greene got right. In Marjorie Taylor Greene's 4-page note, it was stinging for House Republicans. Why? Because the message rang true to so many in the House GOP. Among the House Republicans, that's the headline at Punchbowl News. And Punchbowl News is no joke. It's pretty good. It can be pretty good. But it is a remarkable time. And now there is a story that Punchbowl is putting together. And I don't really follow Punchbowl closely enough to know whether they're rabid, crazy, anti-Trump people like The Economist, which has gone completely crazy anti-Trump every day. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's, in my opinion, was always a little bit of a kook, a little bit of a nut. But I was fine listening to her and wanted to hear what she had to say much of the time. But Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican of Georgia, who will retire from Congress in 42 days. Apparently her retirement is timed to kick in, 3 days after her benefits kick in as a member of, what do you call it? Is it a pension, a retirement package as a member of Congress? And it would be stupid to retire the day before it kicks in, I guess. But Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican Georgia, who will retire from Congress in 42 days, announced the end of her House career Friday night in a manifesto of sorts that sounded, to many, the notes of concern we hear about President Donald Trump's second term. Oh, sure. The crux of MTG's message is that Trump and House Republicans are abandoning all of the president's priorities, falling into complacency. I'm not sure President Trump would agree with that, and are on the brink of squandering their razor-thin majority. Well, with that said, I want to share with you the razor-thin majority news because Jake Sherman at Punchbowl News, he has a Twitter account, an X account, and he wrote some stuff. And here is what Jake Sherman of Punchbowl News is saying. More explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, will be stripped of his gavel, and they will lose the majority before this term is out. That's kind of the banner headline from this little bit by Jake Sherman at Punchbowl News. And he says, a few other GOP members messaged us over the weekend saying that they, too, are considering retiring in the middle of the term. Now, this is Punchbowl News, and I can't speak to how perfect the sources are for Jake Sherman and all this. But he's saying that there are other Republicans who, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, are going to announce, because, angry with Trump or something, that they're going to leave the House of Representatives, and they're going to do it lickety-split and leave the House in the control of the Democrats and Hakeem Jeffries even before the midterm elections next year. Now, if that's true, those Republicans should never darken our door again. And he doesn't name anybody, of course, because everything's anonymous in Washington. But he says, here's one particularly exercised senior House Republican, which, again, is not named. And he says, quoting this alleged unnamed senior House Republican, This entire White House team has treated all members like garbage. All. He capitalizes all twice. And Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, has let it happen because he wanted it to happen. That is the sentiment of nearly all appropriators, authorizers, hawks, doves, rank and file. The arrogance of this White House team is off-putting to members who are run roughshod and threatened. I would say run roughshod over. I think that's kind of an incomplete. Run roughshod, you have to be run roughshod over. And threatened, says the anonymous House member to Punchbowl. They don't even allow little wins like announcing small grants or even responding from agencies. Not even the highest profile. Right, not even the high profile. The regular rank-and-file random members are more upset than ever. Members know they are going to be the minority after the midterms. Well, it sounds like what you're saying here is people are going to quit before the midterms. And then I think what happens then is if you're a House member in Georgia and you step down, doesn't the governor appoint a replacement if a member leaves in the middle of a term? Isn't that how that happens? Or do you have to have a special election? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check with Harry Reid. Just kidding. He's not with us. But there you go. So, and he says, more explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel. And I got to tell you, if Republicans in the House do this, they'll be the biggest filthy stinking losers in the history of stinking losers. Any Republican, if you're the last Republican to resign early to leave the House and your resignation turns the House, control of the House, over to the Democrats and to Hakeem, the racist, anti-American, radical Jeffries, then you will be cursed in eternity because you will be the bad guy of bad guys, the capo de capo of bad guys. You will be the biggest loser in the history of the Republican Party. Now, if you've got issues with the White House, then raise the issues. Deal with it. Be a grown-up. Be a man, even if you're a woman. Well, sorry, that's the Democrat Party. I slipped into Democrat mode for a second. Because their women can be more manly. They, the men have wombs. They're birthing people. They have lady parts. They have all that stuff in that end. But let me just say that of Jake Sherman's writing at Punchbowl News, I hope that you're wrong. I hope this is not true. And you should name people that are threatening to retire because if the Republicans did that, it would just be suicidal for the Republicans that resign from the House and turn it over to the Democrats while Trump is in charge in the White House and Republicans are in charge in the Senate. If Republican House members did this, they would be a stain on the history of the Republican Party, the likes of which the Democrat Party understands very well because they're a stain on the history of the United States of America. Yes, they are. So we've got that going, and that is wild. Now, I've got to say another story that got my attention over the weekend. It was my best girl that drew my attention to it, as a matter of fact. Candace Owens. You know Candace Owens? Candace Owens, who was always a wonderful, young, conservative woman, thoughtful and bright and everything. And I think that she's gone crazy. I think she's gone completely mad. She's been doing some wacky things lately, and then politically, like, what? You make you say, what? I always liked her, thought she's fun and pretty and smart and interesting and conservative. She's a black woman and interesting and, an attractive spokesperson and all that good stuff. And now the headline is, Candace Owens claims she has informed the White House of a France and Israeli assassination plot against her after accusing the Macrons, that is, Macron and fromage, macaroni and cheese, the president of France, and his wife, who used to be a school teacher, and some people think she's a man, but I don't think she is. Candace Owens claims that, listen to this, that she was made aware of an assassination plot against her. Man, oh man. So Candace Owens took to X, formerly known as Twitter, and claimed that she has informed the White House of a, quote, France and Israeli assassination plot, end quote, against her. The French and the Israelis working together to assassinate Candace Owens. So it's like, Trump derangement syndrome. This might be Charlie Kirk derangement syndrome, something like that. She added that she was up for sharing further details about the identity of the alleged assassins and their account details through which money exchange happened. The tweet by Candace Owens read, "I have informed people in the federal government and the White House of the France and Israeli assassination plot, and I am willing to provide full details." I think that's a good idea. As well as the name of the assassins and the international accounts in France and Canada through which money was exchanged. Canada, it's those damn Canadians again. First hockey, now this. The tweet garnered massive attention on the social media platform. As of now, the post has garnered more than 1.5 million views, as well as more than 46,000 likes since the time it was uploaded. The post popped up after Candace Owens shared another tweet on November 22nd, the first time she claimed that the Macrons had paid for her assassination. That's the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, and his lovely wife, who was his school teacher before they started, and now it's different. According to Candace Owens, she was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government who told her about the aforementioned plan. She continued by claiming that the task was specifically given to a small team within the National Gendarmerie. It's the Gendarmerie Intervention Group, so the NGI group, with one Israeli in it as well. Sure, because somebody's got to be able to shoot straight, know how to use a rifle, and you can't depend on the French for that, so you got to have somebody that can shoot. Isn't that great? In the tweet, Candace Owens wrote that the person who contacted her also shared some details related to Charlie Kirk's assassination in September. The tweet read, "Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassin trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement." Now, why would the French Legion, is that the Foreign Legion? Because the Foreign Legion is called the Foreign Legion in France. A friend of mine used to be the commanding officer of the French Foreign Legion, but never mind that. A French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement, really to assassinate Charlie Kirk. That would be surprising to me, I would say. In the tweet, Candace further wrote that journalist Xavier Poussard, his life was also in danger, and that the same had become, and the issue had become quite serious. Sure, that sounds like it's quite serious. The source apparently told Candace that many high officials within the American government had been aware of the situation. She urged netizens, what do you call it? Netizens? Netizens? Sure. That's people online or something like that. Isn't that amazing? Netizens is like your citizens of the internet or something. She urged netizens to retweet the post and spread the word. Now, let me say, I don't know Candace Owens well or anything like that, but I was fond of her for a long time, and she's been putting some pretty wacky stuff out there. I've got to say, pretty wacky stuff. I don't believe that the French or the Israelis are trying to assassinate her. I see no evidence of that. She has made that claim and said somebody told her, you're going to have to give me pictures and the phone number of the guy that told you about all this. And then an international plot to assassinate Charlie Kirk. Candace, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Put down the blunt, because it's getting pretty wacky out there. You know, when Mary said, let it be done to me according to your word, she embraced God's plan. And even with all the uncertainty, the risk, and the sacrifice, her yes brought Jesus into the world. Today, countless pregnant women, mothers, face the same moment of decision when they see their baby on ultrasound. They might be scared, they might be unsure, their moment to say yes may pass, but you can make a big difference right now. Because of the generosity of great listeners like you, Americans, and people like you, Preborn's network of clinics can help provide immediate support, helping thousands of mothers embrace life. And more than 380,000 babies have already been rescued by the great people, the wonderful people here. And this holiday season, don't let another life be lost. Be the hope for hurting mothers and donate securely. Listen, at-risk babies you can save, and you can say yes to life today. To donate securely, all you have to do is dial pound 250, and when prompted, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250. The keyword is baby, or you can go online to preborn.com/plant. That's preborn.com/PLANTE. All of your gifts are, of course, tax deductible, and it impacts eternity. That's all. Yes, sir. So we've got that. Yeah, the House. No Republicans better drive. I would advise against that. I think that would be poor form. I've got crazy news media people. I've got Jen Psaki, and wait till you hear these nutcases. The New York Times has a wacky story today. 2 men, 1 identity. 2 men, 1 identity. It's an illegal alien story, right? Undocumented worker used a stolen identity. 2 men paid the price. Yeah, one of them stole the identity and abused and was a criminal, and the other guy had his identity stolen. And the New York Times wants to effectively equate the both of them, the 2 of them. Say, well, sure, one guy, but he had to, because he had to steal an identity and steal somebody's social security number and their identity. And all of that is okay because he's an illegal alien, you see. So we got that going for us. Let's not forget about Eric Swalwell. Eric Swalwell. Here's Eric Swalwell's big idea. He's a member of Congress. He's under the control of Fang Fang, who is a Chinese Communist Party operative, a honeypot agent who came to the United States to recruit Eric Swalwell. It's working out very, very well. Now he's planning on running for governor of California, and they couldn't be happier in Beijing. But here is Eric Swalwell's big idea now. I want us to be able to vote by phone. I want to max out democracy. He's a communist tool. He's an idiot. He's a tool of one kind or another. Yeah, I want to vote by phone. That's a good idea because mail-out ballots, ballot harvesting, all the crooked tricks that the Democrats have pulled, not enough. Now vote by phone. Here's a headline that just screams third world banana republic takeover of the Democrat Party. California governor candidate Eric Swalwell, who is a filthy, corrupt communist member of the House of Representatives, wants people to be able to, quote, vote by phone. Vote by phone, because it'd be much easier that way. You can vote by phone. The Democratic congressman gave his first TV news interview since announcing his campaign, meaning he's running for governor of California, on CNN on Saturday. Eric Swalwell did. And was Fang Fang with him? Was she visible? Was she at the desk or anywhere to be found? In his first TV news interview since announcing his gubernatorial campaign, Representative Eric Swalwell, Democrat California, said that Californians should be able to vote using their phones in elections. Sure. And when Michael Piercy and I were talking about this before the big radio broadcast this morning, and he said, oh, it's like Dancing with the Stars. I said, I don't think I ever watched Dancing with the Stars. I said, really, on Dancing with the Stars, people phone in their votes? Is that how that works? He said, yeah, on Dancing with the Stars, people you phone in there. So here's Eric Swalwell, a Democrat member of the House of Representatives who's running for governor of our most populous state, a state that Ronald Reagan was once governor of. And here's Eric Swalwell on CNN, and with just nodding agreement and approval.
I want us to be able to vote by phone. I think every Californian
vote by phone.
Vote by phone. Yeah, if we can do our taxes do our make our healthcare appointments, make essentially do your banking online, you should be able to vote by phone. Make it safe, make it secure, but it's actually already happening all over the United States. I want us to be a blue state that doesn't do just a little bit better than like Georgia or Alabama when it comes to like voting access. I want us to max out democracy.
Max out democracy. You're derailing democracy. You're disbanding democracy. He was being interviewed by CNN's Alex Michelson. Not Alex, but Alex, E-L-E-X. He does all the elections, I guess. Isn't that amazing? Alex, and he's sitting there, well, yeah, reacting to Michelson's surprised expression. Eric Swalwell continued, yeah, I mean, you can do your taxes, make your health care appointments. You can make your health care appointments by phone. Therefore, you should be able to vote by phone, as opposed to going to your doctor's office in person to make an appointment. These are not serious people. These are stupid, corrupt people. Filthy, rotten, to the core, corrupt people. And here we go. Vote by phone for your favorite Democrat candidate. And then you can get your grandmother's phone and your kids' phones, and you can, get everybody at school. When you're a teacher, you can corruptly round up all the Democrat Party voters, get everybody to vote by phone, and steal elections. New way to steal elections. It's not enough we have mail-out ballots to everybody's home, like everybody's an absentee voter, or ballot harvesting, where Democrats go to old folks' homes and homeless shelters, and they round up the ballots, and they get people to fill them in and do the writing for them and all that, because Democrats love stealing elections and stealing power. They're fine with that. And now this idiot is saying, yeah, we need to be able to phone it in. Talk about phoning it in. And so Eric Swalwell on CNN, yeah, we need to be able to vote. You can do your taxes. Can you do your taxes by phone? You can get on the phone with the IRS, but then they knock your door down with a battering ram. Say, are you a patriot? Because we target them under Barack Obama. Yeah, do our taxes, make our health care appointments. Really, you use your phone to make a health care appointment. Therefore, you should be able to vote by phone. Essentially, you do your banking online. Well, that's online banking. That's completely their passwords and secret codes and all kinds of things. You should be able to vote by phone. Make it safe, he says. Well, make it safe by catapulting you into Mexico, into Tegucigalpa, maybe down to Guatemala. Make it secure, make it safe, he said. But it's actually already happening all over the United States, he says. It's already happening all over the United States. And Alex, he doesn't know what to say. Swalwell said his goal is for California to do more than just a little better than red states when it comes to voting. I got to tell you, you people. And again, and Michael pointed out to me, I didn't even know, Dancing with the Stars, their whole system, people are dancing, and then they announce, oh, you phone it in to this number.
All right, well, if you want to help them survive tonight's elimination, you have to vote. Well, you can vote for them right now with your text and online at abc.com. Voting closes shortly after the final competitive dance.
Did she say survive the hallucination? The elimination. I thought it was the hallucination. I was looking for some clarity on that. That's pretty weird stuff. Yeah, if they were hallucinating, if they're all doing LSD, hey, it's kind of like Real Housewives on LSD. Oh, that Real Housewives thing. What a scam! I got to tell you, and they just want to make everything cheaper and more tawdry and more corrupt and more easily corrupted, because they're the ones who want to corrupt it all, don't they? Yes, sir. Oh, let's go to Zoran Mamdani, who's a commie and a jihadi and a genocidal racist anti-Semite and a Democrat. And he's from Uganda, and he's not eligible to run for president. And Democrats voted for him in New York because they think he's sexy. Do you think I'm sexy? They got they got Rod Stewart playing in the polling place. All right, let's go to soundbite number 4. Friday at the White House, Zoran Mamdani meeting with President Trump, and it was kind of weird. The whole thing was a bit weird, I've got to say. Almost everybody was a little weirded out by it. And President Trump was being quite cordial with Zoran Mamdani. who had called him a fascist and, and he's destroying democracy and that usual stuff. And then the commie who would really destroy democracy, jihadi who would kill all the Jews, death camps, rail spurs, gas chambers, the whole thing, bad guy. And President Trump was almost too cordial. It was quite peculiar. But Friday, it was afternoon at the White House. There's only one White House. And a reporter asked Zohran Mamdani, hey, you seem to be getting along famously, but aren't you the guy that called President Trump a fascist?
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
So.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
President Trump gave him a little advice dealing with the press. That's okay. Just say, yeah, I'm a fascist. And that's easier than explaining it to the press. President Trump is behaving somewhat differently recently. There are several changes in his demeanor and his... Now, there he is at the White House. And then, naturally, they had Zohran Mamdani on Meet the Press on Sunday, yesterday, on NBC, the NBC television network, the National Broadcasting Corporation. And they had a woman, a Democrat named Kristen Welker, talking to Zohran Mamdani. And she said, hey, you were asked a question about Trump being a fascist at that press conference in the Oval Office at the White House that you had day before yesterday. What's up with that?
In that press conference with President Trump, a reporter asked you whether you believe that President Trump is, in fact, a fascist, a word that you've used in the past. You were about to answer. Then President Trump sort of jumped in and he said, quote, that's okay. You can just say yes. It's easier than explaining it. So, Mr. Mayor-elect, just to be very clear, do you think that President Trump is a fascist?
And after President Trump said that, I said yes. And
so you do?
And that's something that I've said in the past. I say it today.
You're a Nazi. The Nazis were called the Socialist Workers' Party of Germany. Just for the record, Kristen Welker doesn't know that, and Zohran Mamdani may not either. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, and there they in the press conference. And, sure, I think he's a fascist. And does Kristen Welker say, well, define fascist. What has he done that has, as president or as a private citizen, that makes you think that he's a fascist like Adolf Hitler and the National Socialist German Workers' Party, the Socialist Workers' Party of Germany? What makes you think that? But they're not intelligent people. They're not serious people. They're not wise people. And Kristen Welker, she's the anchor lady.
You've also said in the past that President Trump has engaged in a, quote, attack on our democracy. You've called him a despot. Do you still believe President Trump is a threat to the democracy?
Everything that I've said in the past, I continue to believe.
So, yes, he's a fascist. He's a threat to democracy. He is a despot. And nothing has changed. He still believes all that. And then he firebombed a Jewish school, which was kind of weird. But put on his armband and went down there with the Molotov cocktail and let's get the Jews. This is the Democrat Party. This is not some offshoot of anything. This is the Democrat Party in America's most populous city. And New York City, and he got more votes than, anybody. It's just amazing stuff. Now, on your meeting with President Trump, the fascist, the despot, the threat to democracy, went pretty well otherwise?
I found in the meeting that I had with the president a productive one, and a meeting that came back again and again to the central themes of the campaign that we ran: the cost of housing, cost of childcare, the cost of groceries, the cost of utilities. I am confident of the two of us working together to deliver on this agenda and ensure that finally, and this goes back to just that portrait of FDR, we look at what politics has been in the past. It has been there in the moments of such transformation, meeting the scale of the crisis. We can do that again.
This guy is, if you're a dimwit, then you think his canned rhetoric is very bright and intelligent and unexpected and unusual. He's I won't call him third rate. He's a second rate hack. And the fact that the Democrats are so wild for this guy, and which they wouldn't be if he were not a Jew-hating, genocidal, racist, communist who wants to destroy capitalism and private property ownership and America and capitalism. Democrats love all that, and they'd like to shave him or something. They're very, very weird when it comes to this. Yeah, very productive. Yeah, FDR. We got FDR in the conversation. FDR? Sure. Well, he did allow the Germans to continue with the death camps, exterminating the Jewish population in Europe camps. And the FDR White House was fully aware of that in the cabinet, and they let it go, and they didn't bomb the rail spurs, and they didn't, even though it had been recommended repeatedly, but never mind that. And he was turning the country into a socialist hellhole because he couldn't pull us out of the Depression after the crash of the stock market in 1929. He prolonged it, the economic hardship of the Depression, prolonged by the fiscal decisions made by FDR and his administration. But pay no attention to that. It's good to be a Democrat, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I'm looking at everything here. Let's go to Jen Psaki. Jen Psaki has her own TV show on MS-13. What's it called? MS-13 Now? Now it's MS-13 Now. They changed the name of MS-13 NBC to MS-13 Now, and it's not any different. It looks a little cheesier, though. It looks like the Home Shopping Network. They actually do something at the Home Shopping Network, though. But Jen Psaki says that the press corps in the Trump White House is so polite and deferential to President Trump, but they weren't to Joe Biden and Barack Hussein Obama.
The way they're reshaping the people in the press briefing room, more and more of the questions in there are by sycophants, are by people who are not asking about news that the American people cares about, but they're asking about, literally a question has started more than once. Why is Trump in such good shape, right? Or they are, putting out conspiracy theories. They're people who, and they are getting a lot of the questions.
The American people cares about. That'd be the American people care about, or American voters care about, but the American people cares about. That's a singular plural disagreement. If she had any nuns as a child. See, my third grade teacher at Lyons School, Miss Sheehan, the lovely and wonderful Miss Sheehan, I had a crush on her. She would have corrected me there. Said, Chris, what do we have there? I'd say, a singular plural disagreement, Miss Sheehan? And she'd say, that's correct. Now say it correctly. So you don't, and see, that's why I speak so well, because of Sister Mary Mark and Miss Sheehan at the Lyons School in Glenview, Illinois, and all that good stuff. Wonderful Miss Sheehan. I still think about her often, my third grade teacher. I do. I had a crush on her in third grade. How old are you in third grade? 9? About 9? Yeah. That was one of my very early crushes, Miss Sheehan. And she spoke the English very well, the English language very well. I was thinking about her over the weekend. That's why I brought her up today. I was thinking about Miss Sheehan again. Crushes die hard. All right, Jen Psaki. Yeah, because they asked such nice softball questions to Trump, but not to Biden.
This means that reporters who are there to cover MBS being at the White House, or to cover Zelensky being at the White House, or to ask these questions that Mary Bruce fortunately asked yesterday, there are fewer of them. And that is, you don't know that and see that unless you've lived there, but that's a huge, huge problem, because it's becoming more of a Kremlin-esque press corps.
Right. And they've invited a lot of reporters from very right-wing media outlets. And
Katie
you're right.
Couric.
They usually say, I forget, there was one example, like, did you ever believe that you would be the peacemaker?
Right. Well, he's bringing peace deals all over the world, and he's been called upon because 2 major wars broke out in Europe and the Middle East during Joe Biden's time as president, and he's trying to bring peace. In fact, there may be a big breakthrough with Ukraine and Russia happening even as we speak. But remember the hardball questions that Joe Biden got, like soundbite number 10, because everywhere he went, he got hit really hard.
Mr. Biden, what flavor did you get? Chocolate chip.
Oh, yeah. Oh, chocolate chip. See, that's the kind of hardball journalism that Jen Psaki, and that was Katie Couric in there, Katie Couric. Yeah, there's such softball questions in the Trump White House and such hardball with Joe Biden. Hey, you fell over on your bicycle again. Can I help lift you up? Can I carry your lawn chair along the beach because I know it's too heavy for you? That was a question. What kind of ice cream did you get?
I hope you didn't think that calling only on women would get you softballs tonight.
Oh, I know better than that.
the...
If you sent me a softball, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd probably strike out even worse.
Now, Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton was out there over the weekend yelling at a bunch of Democrats, and a fire alarm went off. They were looking for Congressman Bowman to see if he tripped the fire alarm. And then Hillary started shrieking again. And you got to keep in mind that a lot of people have died under mysterious circumstances around Hillary Clinton, in particular from Vince Foster on down. The list is long. But here's Hillary Clinton. I don't know what she's saying. I tried to decipher what she's saying, but apparently Donald Trump is gone, or they're going to make him gone, and then they're going to be victorious or something. But Hillary Clinton, with the body count in her wake, should probably keep it tightly buttoned up on this kind of stuff.
You know what this reminds me of is I wish that there could be like a huge national sound system. And we would all wake up and they'd say, attention, attention, we have found the problem and we have solved it. He is gone.
It's 1984. It's George Orwell, Big Brother on the telescreen. And they all went crazy. They're self-immolating now. What are you? The problem is gone. He's been shot once by one of you guys. The other one tried to shoot him.
But the reason we're here tonight is to remind all of us, including ourselves, that can't happen unless we make it happen.
Yeah, we got to make it happen. The Democrat Party is danger, danger, warning, warning. These are not people you want as your neighbors or family members. These are angry, violent, crazy, hate-filled, and they love death more than we love life, don't they? Yes, they do. Also, a crazy story today that I didn't have time to get to. Little House on the Prairie star Charlotte Stewart reveals her wild friendship with benefits with Jim Morrison of The Doors. I'm sorry, Little House on the Prairie and Jim Morrison of The Doors? What is up with that? She became, Charlotte Stewart? Charlotte Stewart? I never watched Little Home on the Prairie. I'm not going to start now either.